Hello grade 10 students. Today we are going to discuss 10 questions with you. So today I have selected a past paper to discuss with you. So the past paper I have selected is 2019 Northwestern Province second term test paper, right? So I have selected 10 questions and we'll discuss these 10 questions and let's try to understand the theories behind this. Question number 1, if 441 equals 3 times 3 times 7 times 7, asking us to find the value of I'm sorry, square root of 441. So what is asking in the question is square root of 441. So let me give you a very basic simple example. Let me consider the number 25. So 25 we can write it as 5 times 5, right? So using index notation, the same number 25 I can write it as 5 to the power 2 5 square. Now if you are talking about square root of 25, so that is equals to square root of 5 squared as well. So the final answer will be equals to 5. So today 5 times 5 is equals to 25. So square root of 25 is 5. If I give you another example, 49 is equals to 7 times 7. Otherwise 7 times 7 gives you 49. Right? 7 times 7 is equals to 49. So square root of 49 is equals to 7. Right? So I hope everyone is clear with regards to the concept square root. Right? Let's move on to this question. Now what it is asking is square root of 441. Right? Now in this case, can we write 441 as 3 to the power 2, yes, times 7 to the power 2, right? So 441 is equals to 3 to the power 2 times 7 to the power 2. Now let me consider the square root of left hand side. Since this is an equation, I need to consider the square root of the right hand side as well. Now we have 3 to the power 2 and we have 7 to the power 2 along with the square root symbol. So what happens is you can eliminate, you can remove writing the square root symbol and also the second powers as well. So your final answer will be 3 times 7, so which is equals to 21, right? So the square root of 441 is equals to 21. Is that clear? Right. So let me move on to the second question, right? If there anyone who has not completed these questions, right, the best is to pause this video, read this question and try to write the answer by yourself and then check whether your answer is correct. එහෙම නැතුව නිකන් වීඩියෝ එකක් කොහේ බලලා නම් පුතේ ඒවට ගණන් වගේ විෂයක් ටිකක් තේරුම් ගන්න කියන්නේ පුළුවන් කරගන්න ටිකක් අමාරු වෙයි. So the best is to do these questions by yourself first and then refer to the video and check whether your answer is correct. Right. Pute, the second question, x minus 2 times x minus 3 is equals to 0. So solve. So what is asking here is to find the value of x. So in this case what we need to do is we need to find the value of x. Pute, let me consider an instance like this. So let's say we have two terms a and b. The product of a and b is equals to 0. Right? Let's consider that a and b are two terms. Now the product of these two terms are equals to 0. මේ දෙන්නගේ product එක 0 වෙන්න නම් පුතේ are we all clear? Either a should be equals to 0 or else b should be equals to 0. Right? Unless otherwise one of these equals to 0, we will not have an answer equals to 0. මේ දෙන්නගේ product එක 0 වෙන්න නම් දෙන්නගෙන් එක්කෙනෙක් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම 0 වෙන්න ඕනනේ. එහෙම නැතුව වෙන ඉලක්කම් මොන ඉලක්කම් දෙකක් multiply වුණාද are we all clear? Right? So we will not get the value, the answer as 0. Answer එක 0 වෙන්නේ නැහැ වෙන මොන ඉලක්කම් දෙකක් multiply කරත් fractions දෙකක් multiply කරත් decimals multiply කරත් මොනවා multiply කරත් 0 කියලා value එකක් එන්නේ නැහැ. At least one of these two equals to 0. මෙයා 0 වුණොත් මෙයා කවුරු වුණත් කමක් නැහැ. If b equals to 0 ඒ කවුරු වුණත් කමක් නැහැ. Clear? So you can use that particular theory to get the answer in this kind of a situation, right? Now there are instances I have seen kids, what are they doing is they are trying to remove the brackets, they are trying to expand these brackets, මේ පැත්ත තව එන සංකීර්ණ කරගෙන complex කරගෙන උත්තර ගන්න try කරනවා. That is not required, right? So the theory behind this is the product of two terms, otherwise the product of two factors, if it is equal to 0, then at least one of the factors should be equals to 0, right? So using that, what I can say is either x minus 2 equals to 0, or else x minus 3 should be equals to 0. So if x minus 2 is equals to 0, then x is equals to 2. We have to bring this negative 2 to the right hand side. If x minus 3 is equals to 0, then x is equals to positive 3. So in this kind of a question, we will be getting two different answers. In a case of x equals to 2, you will get the product of these two factors as 0. If the value of x is equals to 3, then again you will get the product of these two factors as 0. So in this case, you have two answers. Is that clear? Right. Let's move on to the next question. Right. So this is also one of the most important lesson in your syllabus, the least common multiple. Find the least common multiple of following algebraic terms. So the three terms which we have given is m squared n, second one is n squared, third one is 3 times mn, right? So sometimes in your syllabus, when it comes to grade 10 lessons, there are instances where we have algebraic expressions also included in these kind of questions. But this is kind of a very simple version of the question, right? Only included algebraic terms. M squared n, the other term is n squared, the other term is 3 times m times n, right? So what I'm going to do is, let me separate the algebraic terms. So m squared times n, I can write it as n to the power 1. N squared, you have to do nothing, just write it n to the power 2 n squared. Third one, 3 to the power 1, m to the power 1, n to the power 1, right? So what are the different bases you have in this, right? Different bases you found in these algebraic terms. So we found 3m in, right? අපිට 3 කියන බේස් එක හම්බුණා, m කියන බේස් එකත් හම්බෙලා තියෙනවා, and also we found n at certain different places. So what is the highest power? ඔන්න පුතේ මෙතන තමයි අපි දැනගන්න ඕන කාරණාව තියෙන්නේ. Highest power, right? Highest power of the different bases. So what is the highest power of the different bases we have selected, right? Now when it comes to number 3, what is the highest power you can find in this particular area, right? So we have only 3 to the power 1, and then when it comes to m, here can you all understand, right? We have this term m in 2 places, but the highest power of m is m squared. So in this case, what are we going to select is m squared, m to the power 2. We have to select m to the power 2, right? Now when it comes to n here, we have n placed in 3 different places. The highest power of n is n squared, right? Now you are selecting the highest power of the different bases. Next step is LCM. So how are we going to find out the least common multiple is, let's take the product of these different bases and the highest power, right? So 3 to the power 1, 3, m squared, n squared is the final answer. So your final answer is 3m squared n squared. I hope I'm clear. Yes. Question number 3. Right. Let me move on. Question number 4. The diagram, in the diagram, AB is a straight line. Find the value of A. පුතේ since AB is a straight line, right? Can you all remember when we were in the previous grades, right? When it comes to grade 6, 7, we learned about a straight angle, right? We talked about straight angle. So the magnitude of the straight angle is 180 degrees. So you can say the magnitude of all the angles around this point is 180 degrees. That is the theory that we are going to use in order to get the answer. So the two angles we have here is 2a plus 3 is 1. The other angle is a. So 2a plus 30 plus the other angle is a. The sum of these two angles should be equals to 180 degrees. 2a plus a is 3a. 3a plus 30 equals 180. Let's bring this 30 to the other side. 3 times a equals 180 minus 30. 3 times a equals 150. A equals 150 over 3. So the value of this angle A is 50 degrees. So the magnitude of A equals 50 degrees. Am I clear? Alright. Moving on. Question number 5. Please stop the video, pause the video and do these questions and then only check whether your answer is correct or not. From a tap, 60 milliliters of water is leaked within 5 minutes. From a tap, 60 milliliters of water, right, leaked within 5 minutes. If the find the wasted amount of water within 2 hours. So 2 hours time will be equals to, 2 hours is equals to 120 minutes. So what is asking is the amount of milliliters wasted within 120 minutes, right? Right. So let's find out the amount wasted. What is the amount wasted, right, in a minute? What is the amount wasted in a minute? 60 milliliters wasted during 5 minutes. So the amount wasted in a minute is 12 milliliters, right? So the amount wasted, right, within 2 hours, otherwise 120 minutes, right? 12 times 120, right? What is the answer? Let's put a 0 at the end. 12 times 12, 144, right? So the total amount wasted in terms of milliliters is equals 1440 milliliters. So that is the amount of water wasted during 2 hours. Very simple, very basic question. Right. Figure shows a sector of radius 7 centimeters. Pute, now in this sector, radius is 7 centimeters. Angle at the center of the sector is given as 90 degrees. Now this is a sector. The picture, the image is not perfect, right? But we have to consider this as a sector, right? In other words, this is a quarter of a circle as well. Make a circle එකකින් quarter එකක් කියලා ගන්නත් පුළුවන්. Figure shows a sector of radius 7 centimeters. Now the area of this sector, the total sector, area of the total sector is given as 38.5 square centimeters. Now we know the area of the total sector as well. Find the area of the shaded portion, right? Pute, this is the shaded portion, right? Asking us to find out the area of the shaded portion, right? The total, when it comes to the total sector, the area of the sector is given as 38.5 square centimeters. Asking us to find the area of the shaded part. What do you think? What we can do in order to get the answer? Make answer ගන්න මොකද කරන්න ඕන? Total sector එකේ area එකෙන් let's remove the area of this unshaded right angle triangle. සම්පූර්ණ සෙට් එකකින් අයින් කරමුද අපි මෙන්න මේ ෂේඩ් කරලා නැති ඉතුරු වෙලා තියෙන කෑල්ල පොඩ්ඩක් බැලුවොත් it's a right angle triangle, right? So we know how to calculate the area of a right angle triangle. Base is 7 centimeters, perpendicular height is also 7 centimeters, right? Shall we give a try? Let's give a try. Right? Area of the sector is given as 38.5 square centimeters. Area of the triangle what do you think? What is the area of the triangle now? Let's consider this side as the base and let's consider this side as the perpendicular height. So I'm going to consider this particular right angle triangle and let's find out the area of this unshaded right angle. Half times base into perpendicular height. So this is the equation we are using to find out the area of a triangle. So the half times base 7, perpendicular height 7, half times 49. 49 divided by 2 is 24.5 nether. So 24.5 square centimeters, right? So asking us to find out the area of the shaded portion, the difference between these two. Area of shaded portion, right? 38.5 minus 24, 38.5 minus 24.5, here you go, 0 is this 14 square centimeters. Got it clear? Yes? Alright. So that is question number 6. Moving on, question number 7. Karmuda. Question number 7 වලට යමු. The annual income of a person is 850,000 rupees, right? Question is from annual income tax basically. According to the following table, find the income tax he has to pay per year. Pute, according to this table, the initial whatever the 500,000 rupees you are earning, right? If your annual income is till 500,000 rupees for a year, you don't have to pay any tax. Now, if you are earning, right, more than 500,000 rupees for a year, for the next 500,000 rupees, second 500,000 rupees you are earning for a year, right? That is a taxable income. You have to pay income tax for that. So the tax amount as a percentage you have to pay is 4%, right? If you are, let's say if your annual income is 600,000 rupees, right? So for the first 500,000 rupees will be tax free. And if your annual income is 600,000 rupees, then this particular 100,000 rupees you have to pay 4% out of this 100,000 rupees as tax. If your annual income is, let's say, 750,000 rupees, then the first 500,000 rupees will be tax free. But for the second, right, after the first 500,000 rupees, you are earning additional 250,000 rupees. This is a taxable income. You have to pay 4% out of this. Again, another example, 1.3 million. Let's say your annual income is 1.3 million, right? First 500,000 tax free. Now you will be earning in the second part all the 500,000 rupees. මෙතන ලක්ෂ 5ම එනවනේ. ඒකටත් තව ලක්ෂ 3ක් එකතු වෙලානේ. You will get 1,300,000 rupees. Now for this amount you have to pay a tax of 4%. මේ ඒක තමයි මේ table එකේ කියන්නේ මේ. So the tax amount you have to pay is 4% for the second 500,000 rupees. And for the next 300,000 rupees, the tax amount you have to pay is 8%. Am I clear? ඔක ටිකක් පහළට යනකොට තව tax percentage එක වැඩි වෙනවා. මේක දැන් ඇත්තටම this is not the accurate, right, current table which the whoever who is earning more than 500,000 should pay. මේක නෙමෙයි ඇත්ත මේක දැන් table එක වෙනස් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ සෑහෙන වැඩි වෙලා තියෙන්නේ right now this is the table which is in your textbook I guess right. Okay, now let's move on to the question again. The annual income of the person is 850,000 rupees. Right, now 850,000 rupees, let's separate it. Let's remove the first 500,000 rupees out of it, and after removing the first 500,000 rupees, which is tax free, the additional amount you have is 350,000 rupees, right? Now this additional 350,000 rupees is the taxable amount, right? So the tax amount you have to pay is, right, 4% of 350,000 rupees. Cancelling the last two zeros with last two zeros, 4 times 3,500, 7,000. 14,000 will be the amount you have to pay as tax for a year. Whoever who is earning 850,000 rupees for a year, right, have to pay 14,000 rupees as his income tax according to the table. Alright, clear? Let's move on. Question number 8. Let's do this question number 8. Simplify and keep the answer in its simplest form. Right. Pute, 2 plus 1/3. Can you remember when you were in grade 7, we learned about mixed numbers. So 2 plus 1/3, you can write it as a mixed number as 2 and 1/3 of 2/7. Correct? Make a mixed number. This doesn't matter. Right, let's convert this mixed number into an improper fraction. 3 times 2, 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. 7/3 of 2/7. Now instead of this word of, what I can do is I can put multiplication symbol and 2/7. Cancelling 7 with 7. Final answer is 2/3. Final answer is 2/3. Right? පුරු වෙන මේ જાති ප්‍රශ්න හදන්න ලේසි. Right. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 9. Question number 9. According to the information given in the figure, find the value of x and y. Pute, the sum of these two angles, we got same kind of a question earlier as well. So x plus 110 is equals to 180. Once you bring this 110 to the other side, x is equals 180 minus 110. X is equals to 70 degrees. X is equals to 70 degrees. Now can you remember a theorem like this? Let's say we have a triangle, right? We have an external angle to the triangle. The magnitude, let me take it as C. Interior opposite two angles are as A and B, right? With corresponding to C, A and B are calling as interior opposite angles. We are calling them as interior opposite angles. Now the theorem is, Pute, the magnitude of the external angle is equals to the sum of two interior opposite angles. So the value of the exterior angle is equals to the sum of interior opposite angles. Can you apply same theorem for this particular triangle? Y is an external angle. Y is an external angle. The value of y is equals to the sum of two interior opposite angles. 70 plus 55. Y equals 125 degrees. Very easy, right? So x got equals to 70 degrees and y was equals to 125 degrees. Clear? Yes. Let me move on to the next question. Right. Right. According to the information given in the figure, write the case of congruency of the triangles A, ABO and triangle ACO, right? What are the cases when it comes to congruence of triangles, right? We have angle, angle side, right? Then we have angle, what is the other one, right? Angle, angle side. Second one, side, angle side. Third one, side, side, side. Fourth one is only applicable for right angle triangles, right angle hypotenuse side. Most of the times since these two are right angle triangles, we are feeling like these two are congruent under the right angle hypotenuse side. But in this case, can you all understand, we have not given enough information to say, we have not given information saying these two hypotenuses are equals to one another. So that we cannot consider these two triangles are congruent under the case right angle hypotenuse side. Pute, now when you consider this triangle and the other triangle, both these triangles are having the same side. So one side is equal. This angle is 90 degrees, this angle is 90 degrees. The other two sides also, right, which is containing the 90-degree angle which is equal to angle, right, are also equal. This side equals, these two angles are equals, these two sides are again equal, right? So what is the case that these two triangles are getting congruent under? Yes, so that is side angle side, right? Two sides and the included triangle angle of a triangle is equals to two sides and the included angle of the other triangle. Then the two triangles are congruent under the case, yes, side angle side. Alright kids, yes. So we have discussed 10 past paper questions with you today, and we are trying to continue this session along with you, right? Each and every week, let's try to discuss some more questions along with you, right? So that will help you to keep your knowledge updated, refresh your knowledge each and every week, right? So that you don't have to specially get prepared when it comes to your papers, when it comes to your term tests as well, right? Let's do this weekly and get refreshed about what we have learned so far in terms of grade 10 and 11 mathematics. Alright, so I'm going to stop this session for the day today, and we are hoping to see you very soon. Goodbye.